Hello, welcome back to yet another interesting tutorial. My name is Ajibola and you're welcome to Ajib Sims. Today I'm going to be teaching you how I made this V-neck collar bracelet bubu. Can you feel that? So now let's go straight into the tutorial. These are the items I'll be needing. I'll be making use of this Ankara fabric already folded into two. I'll be making use of interfacing, paper stay and the art stay. I'm making use of velvet in orange color. I'll be making use of my pink ocean, my scissors, and I'll also be making use of my marking chalk and my pattern master ruler, and I'll be making use of my tape measure as well as my measurement book. And remember, like I used to say, if you're drafting freehand, make sure that your fabric is folded wrong side facing you, because you do not want your fabric to look dirty outside. So now already folded in two, make sure your folds are upwards. You're going to fold lengthwise and fold widthwise. So that is two places. So now I'm just going to do the normal drafting of a bubu gown like I did in my previous tutorial with that Ashoke Bubu, which a lot of you liked a lot. So now I've measured my full measurements of my client's body, that is a full gown length, and from there, from the shoulder line, that is the fold, I'm measuring down 10 inches, that is a shoulder to a bust line. Note, measurement varies. You have to take your client's measurement to know this. My client's measurement shoulder to her bust is 10 inches. Yours might be 11. So now from the shoulder again, that is the fold, I'll be measuring the waist measurement. The waist measurement, and I had 16 inches for our waist, as you can see me marking there, and I'll connect it with my ruler as a straight line. So these are your vertical measurements, and I went ahead to connect it as a straight line with my ruler. And now from the waistline, I'm just going down by 8 inches, which signifies the hip line from the waist to the hip line. You can as well do the other method of measuring from the shoulder to the hip line. That is, if you measured your client that way. Anyone that suits you is better. And so I went ahead to join those markings with a straight line using my ruler. And from the other edge of the folded fabric, the one opposite the center front, I came down by 1 inch and connected it to the neck width of 4 inches that I made earlier on. That will create our shoulder slant. And for the depth of the neck, remember the bubu has two types of neck. For the front neck, I came down by 7 inches, and from that point I came in by half inches. You can go lower if you want, depending on how deep you want your neckline to be. And I connected it to that half inch I created to the neck width. I hope you're getting my point. To create a v-neck, not the pointy type of v-neck, but the one with an edge. So for the horizontal measurement or body circumference measurement, I divided my bust by 4, added 4 inches ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. You can make your ease bigger or smaller depending on how big and small you want your bubu to be. I did that for my waistline, as you can see me doing here. I divided by my waistline by 4. I added 4 inches width and 1 inch sewing allowance. And from the bust line, I created a curve to create my armhole, like an armhole, and I connected it straight down to the hem of my bubu, as you can see me doing here. And remember guys that this bubu has two types of necklines. We've already drafted the front, and now it's time for the back. I just came down by 1 inch for the back and connected it with a curve to the neck width. So this is me cutting out the velvet material for this design. I just made use of the total measurement of the neck area all round. I measured the neck of my bubu after cutting it from the back to the front. So whatever you have, you're going to add 2 inches to it for safety. And I also made use of 5 inches for my width, because when I fold the 5 inches, I'm going to have 2.5 inches, and I'll make use of that half inch for stitching it to the Ankara. So here I am preparing my neckline for the velvet infusion, and I just folded the back neckline into two to notch it neatly so that I can be aware of the middle part of my neckline. And here is also the strip that we cut earlier on, already interfaced smoothly. And a quick one for those of you who does not have a steam iron, just place your interface neatly, carefully on your fabric and sprinkle some water on it. Just sprinkle it and iron it, and you're going to have a neat finish. So I folded it lengthwise like this to notch it at the middle so that I can be able to place both notches, the notch on the velvet and the notch on the fabric, on the Ankara together, in order to have an equal result and a neat result. So the next stage is to join your shoulders together, which I've already done here and I've ironed it. And it is now time to add the neck collar to the neckline of the bubu, as you can see me do here. I am just aligning both notches together and pinning it with my pin so I can stitch all round. Make sure you stitch beyond, a little bit beyond the edges. Now for the pocket area, I've already cut out two boxes of 9 inches width by 12 inches height. You can do yours depending on how you want. And now for the velvet, I'm just cutting two pieces of it as well for the pocket design, and I interfaced it as well. For the main design of the bubu, I was inspired by this my ceiling here in my house to create this octagon design with 3 layers of it, using the Ankara fabric as the middle layer and velvet for the top and the bottom layer as well. And so guys, let me take you through the process of creating that octagon. I cut a piece of paper 10 inches wide by 8.5 inches length and folded it into two equal parts. So from the edge there, I came inwards by 2 inches. I did that at the top and I did that at the bottom part as well, 2 inches. And also from the top downwards, I came down by 3 inches, as you see me mark there as well, and I did it at the bottom upwards as well, 3 inches. Now you're going to use your ruler to connect those 2 points together to create an edge for the top and for the bottom part as well. Joy everywhere! After doing that, you're going to cut both lines away at both edges, as you see me do here carefully. So after cutting out those two lines away, this is how your shape is going to come out as. You're going to have 8 lines, which will give you an octagon. And here I am labeling it for you to see it vividly. So I'm also writing it out for you that it is an octagon shape. So this is the smallest of all the 3 layers, and we're going to use it in creating the other 2 bigger layers. So this, I'm about to cut the next bigger layer. So you're going to fold your paper again and place your octagon, the smallest octagon, folded on it. That is center folds on center folds. So I'm going to go ahead to elongate the edges like you see me do. You're going to elongate it with your ruler. 4 edges. You're going to elongate the 4 edges like this. And after elongating it, you're going to use your tape measure to measure out 2 inches. Yes, I want each panel to be 2 inches bigger than the other, so that when I eventually stitch it down, I'm going to have 1.5 inches in total. I hope you're getting my point. So this is it. I'm going to mark 2 inches from the edge, the other edge there, outward. So I'm going to connect it. Yes, connect it this way. That is 2 inches at one line to the other line, 2 inches, and that's how I'm going to keep measuring 2 inches on each line and connecting it with the other 2 inches to create a bigger panel of our octagon. So this is the second layer, and you can still use this same method to create the largest layer of it. Remember, I made use of 3 layers of this octagon. And so I have cut it out. I have 2 pieces of it, and I'm going to use this particular piece I'm holding to cut the largest octagon shape, just as the way we did it together while creating that, using the same 2 inches measurement. So I'm going to use it to cut out my fabric and interface it, which I did off camera. I'm sorry about that. And here I am showing you the collar already attached to the neckline of the bubu. I sewed it a little bit away ahead, a little bit away from the edges, just a little bit, about 1/4 inch away from the edges. And now I just want to notch the edges so that when I tuck it in, everything will lay flat and smooth underneath. So you have to be very and extra careful at this stage. At the edge there, you're going to notch it with your scissors to very close um area of the stitch, the last stitch made when you were sewing your collar. You're going to notch it to the last stitch you made while sewing the collar to the neckline. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And you just have to be careful. Do not cut through the stitch, because if you do, you're going to ruin everything you've made. It's not going to be neat again, and it's going to make your work look rough. So after notching both edges to already, you're going to now lay your fabric like I'm doing here to tuck the collars inwards this way. So you're going to notice that it is very easy and convenient to tuck it in. If you do not notch it right, you're going to experience some kind of difficulty, and it will not lay smoothly and flat like a professional collar, V collar looks like. I hope you're understanding. So this is how it is. You see here, I experienced a little bit of difficulty because I didn't notch it well. So I went ahead to correct it by notching it really close to the last stitch. So that is it. Looking rough. It's not well laid because I didn't notch it well at that area. So I went ahead as well to use my scissors to notch it very close to the last stitch made while sewing the collar to the neckline like this. And as soon as you do that, you're going to ease, the tension is going to get eased, yes, and the collar will lay flat very well on top of themselves. So now you're going to stitch that part I showed you to secure it well. And so after tucking in the collar neatly, you are now going to place the design, the breastplate itself, the octagon design itself at the middle of your bubu, covering the edge of your front neckline a little bit. Then you're going to sew the 8 sides neatly and carefully. Now it's time to place the pockets. I just measured from my shoulder line downwards to the hip line to place the pocket, and As you can see here, I marked the middle of my bubu with a chalk, tailor's chalk, which will erase later off. And from that middle line, I'm going to measure 3 inches inwards to create that, the distance between both pockets. And you have to pin them well so that they won't move about when you are sewing them. So right side facing each other, I went ahead to stitch from the armhole downwards towards the hem, which I've already concealed by 1 inch on both sides. And here is my happy client looking bling bling and stunning. I embellished the velvet area of the bubble with rhinestones, and trust me guys, it was beautiful. If you gain value from this, kindly give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel so you can continually see interesting and fun videos, sewing video tutorials. Do not forget to subscribe as well and hit on your notification bell so you'll be aware when I post new videos. See you next time. Bye.